This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
And Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And today, we are going to be talking about the NBA playoffs and the NBA draft. We'll start off with playoff talk. Can the Pelicans defeat the Warriors? Then we'll go into our reoccurring segment, the Wet Boys segment of the week. Then we'll go to two draft topics. We're talking the needs for the Sacramento Kings and the needs for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Before we jump into those topics, though, a little bit of housekeeping. Check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. We had two Patreons last week. We had coming onto the podcast. Yeah, I can't talk today. Pat coming in to talk about Trae Young, and then we had Jake talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. So if you want to be on any of our podcasts, whether it's the Onside Kick, the Rick and Johnny podcast, the Patreon podcast, the Fast Break, or the Primetime podcast, head over to patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast and check out the $10 tier. Also, if you're on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. We love and appreciate the support. We need it if we are going to grow, and we appreciate all the growth we've seen in the past month. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the content that we have coming out. And also, go check out mostvaluablepodcast.com. You can find our shop over there, and you can buy an MVP t-shirt if you feel so inclined to. But boys, let's jump into the first topic, and we're talking about the matchup between the Golden State Warriors and the New Orleans Pelicans, the 2-6 matchup out west. The question is, after the crazy sweep of the New Orleans Pelicans over the Trailblazers, and with Steph Curry being banged up, the question is, do the New Orleans Pelicans have enough to take down the Golden State Warriors?
Honestly, it's a weird situation. I want to say yes so bad to this question. The thing that kills me is Steph Curry's health. I don't know for a fact that he's not going to play throughout this series. It's if it was
he's questionable for game one.
Right. Questionable game one, and I feel like that's really going to set the tone. Like, if the Pelicans come out and play crushing defense and lock them down and win convincingly in game one, I think that sends the whole series into like this weird, like, I'm not going to say panic mode for the Warriors, but like it definitely takes them back a step because this is a Warriors team that's loaded beyond belief. The expectation is when healthy, they're the best team in the league, and now you're getting a game taken off you by the freaking Pelicans, a team who honestly has played incredibly well in the playoffs. I think the weird matchup for me is always going to be, how are the guard play going to match up again? Rondo and Drew locked down CJ and Dame in round one. What can they do in round two?
Well, for me, it's as simple, and the reason why I let you go first, Dave, is no, they're not. And the reason why is I am going to make a prediction. Steph Curry will play game one.
Oh.
Like, you don't come back to practice like he is to sit out game one. Like, the questionable thing, I'm thinking New England Patriots on the NFL side, where it's like, Tom's questionable for this one. No, Steph's going to play. The plan has always been he looked good yesterday. They said that they were going to have him practice today as we're recording this on Friday, see how that goes. I think it's gearing up for him to play game one. And if Steph Curry plays this series, Pelicans might win a game, but it's not going to be a Pelicans win in this series.
I don't know about that. I think we should probably give the Pelicans a little bit more credit. I don't think they'll win the series if we're asking that question. But can this be a 6 or 7 game series? I think there's
without Steph, it can't.
I think there's even with Steph, I think there's the ingredients to cook up a possible deep series for the Warriors and Pelicans. That might be sacrilege because they just lost their first game in the past 2 years in the playoffs to the Spurs. But I still think the ingredients are there for the Pelicans. Again, great guard play, and we saw what they did. Alvin Gentry really keying that game plan to stopping the Portland Trailblazers. If Alvin Gentry is able to do that and at least force Steve Kerr to make a change after game one, that's going to be a big thing. The great guard play again for Drew Holiday, and Niko Mirotic was on fire. We look at Anthony Davis again on fire. So I mean, they've had really great play so far. I think it's just really how will New Orleans come out of the gate after having a long layoff. The question I want to ask though is, what do you think is going to be more important? The mismatch that Anthony Davis will have, because, again, there's no center play down low. And also, I mean, Draymond Green, while he's a great defender, I'm going to take 7-foot Anthony Davis over 6'9" Draymond Green because Anthony Davis is, a couple inches taller and quicker than Draymond Green.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, Draymond has more physicality, but I'm taking Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis probably, top 5 player in the league right now. You could even say top 3. So is the thing that's bigger the Anthony Davis mismatch or is it the Steph Curry injury? What's going to cause more storylines?
I think it's neither of those. To me, the thing that kind of plays the most in this is the
Appreciate it.
The reason why is I think there's a third option that you forgot about is there's a mismatch between the Warriors to the Pelicans in general because, yes, Drew Holiday and Rajon Rondo played phenomenally. Like, Rondo proved me wrong and made me feel like I forgot about playoff Rondo from last year. But the thing I look at is you've got Rondo, who's a shorter guy. You've got Drew Holiday, who's 6'4". Yeah, put one of those on Steph Curry. Great. Can play good defense. All right, who's going to guard Klay Thompson? Who's going to guard Kevin Durant? Are you confident in Nico Mirotic being able to shut one of those down? Like, Drew Holiday being 6'4", it's like Klay's got three, like, what? Like, he's 6'7", and then Durant's 6'9". They both have a height advantage on Drew.
Yeah, but Drew has pretty good wingspan. I'm not super concerned about the guard matchup. I think it really comes down to the mismatch between Nico and KD. Like, that's one that can be taken advantage of. And I know they're playing, Solomon Hill's getting some minutes. They're rolling E'Twaun Moore out there. Like, it's a rotation at small forward.
E'Twaun's small, though.
That's the thing. I don't know that they have anyone who can match up to Kevin Durant to slow him down. I don't know if they're going to have some weird sets where, like, they're going to roll Anthony Davis out there on him. I'm just...
But then who's going to guard Draymond?
Go ahead. Like, if Draymond can shoot you through a series this year, he deserves it. Like, that's my answer. Honestly, like, that's the matchup because I think what Sean said, like, Anthony Davis doesn't have a great... he has the advantage over Draymond by far. He can roll through that offense. I'm not super concerned there. Draymond, good defender. I think he'll probably hold Anthony Davis under 30. But like it's still Anthony Davis. For me, it's that we as Chicago people, we've seen Nico get abused defensively. We know how bad he has been coming off of screens, and no one sets better moving screens than Golden State. So I would be afraid.
Pick and roll.
I would be so afraid of Kevin Durant just taking it to Nico. You have to hide him out there in order to not get abused.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, you bring up the KD one, and that one really didn't think in my mind, even though we're going to talk about him a little bit later for Wet Boys. But I think that's another huge mismatch that I didn't even think of. I mean, so you look at this. I mean, we saw great guard play again from New Orleans, again, shutting down probably one of the best backcourts in the league in CJ and Dame. But again, this is a much more deeper Warrior team.
I mean, even think of the length of Iguodala and Livingston. Chandra Livindala.
Yeah, and JaVale McGee, who's gotten a ton of minutes. Of course, I mean he's playing in the middle. Again, a 7-footer there. I don't know if he's going to be able to match up with Anthony Davis, but still provides a little more length. It seems like again, the Pelicans are red hot right now, 4-0, just got off the sweep of the Portland. Was that because of the matchup they had against Portland, though, or was that because you honestly think they have the talent to? Was it just that New Orleans is a better team, or do you think it was just the right matchup for New Orleans?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, where it was like, yeah, the Pelicans played up for this one, but they also got the right matchup. They got possibly besides maybe the Spurs, but the Spurs even beat the Warriors, so I can't slight them. They won one game when most of us thought they would sweep. I think they just got the, how do I want to phrase this, the lowest, like, red-hot team, the team that was, like, the coldest almost, coming in, where it was like, yeah, Jazz and Thunder will be good, Rockets will beat the T-Wolves, but the T-Wolves can come in and play well, where it was like Pelicans, although I picked the Blazers because I thought the backcourt would be better. A lot of people thought that as well, besides you guys who both picked Pelicans. And the Pelicans just got a good matchup with, hey, it's Dame and CJ, shut them down, and what else do they got? They got nothing compared to us.
I'd like to give some credit to the coaching, to be entirely honest with you. I think they game planned it so well. They pretty much were like, we're going to double Dame. We'll shut him down. Go ahead and beat us with someone else. I dare you. See how CJ can carry the load for the whole game. CJ played well, but CJ can't win a game on his own. Nurkic had moments, but he got in foul trouble often because that's the other thing you have to account for with Anthony Davis is with him down low in the paint, he causes contact like crazy. So with him there, with Rondo driving through the lane, like you get so many opportunities for fouls.
And I mean, Draymond got in foul trouble against the Spurs a little bit in that series.
Exactly. I think that's one of the things. Like I think matchup-wise, it was ideal because I think Drew Holiday had been slept on for the majority of the year as being one of the best two-way guards in the league. Obviously, like after his first month and a half, he really turned it on. And then Rondo, just playoff Rondo.
And maybe this is an asinine question here, but I'm gonna throw it out there. You guys can shut it down. Which backcourt is better, a hurt Steph Curry and Klay Thompson or playoff Rondo. Again, it's playoff Rondo. And Drew Holiday.
I'm going Golden State all day, every day.
Really?
All day, every day. Like, until you
it was
prove
Steph
me,
Curry and Klay Thompson.
until you
It's
prove me
hurt
wrong,
Steph, though. That's the thing.
I'll take a hurt Steph over, like, not a hurt Steph over an 100% Steph, but I will take I will take a hurt Steph.
Bold call.
I will take a hurt Steph.
I'll take
over,
a two-legged LeBron James over a one-legged LeBron James.
Okay. But I will take a hurt Steph over the majority of point guards in this league. That is how good Steph can be, especially in the playoffs.
There's a lot of good point guards in this league.
I mean, I get it. You're going.
Is it that wide of a gap, Dave?
I don't think there's that. Look, they're very good. They're very good, but they're also the best thing about the way the Warriors offense works is it's ball movement, it's pick and roll, and it's using the screens, how they so effective. So if
getting switches for mismatches.
That's pick and roll. So if they go through and honestly, I think the one thing that they killed Dame and CJ on was they went over on the majority of screens, and then they had AD act as a floater. So he basically was playing off person and just able to kind of be in between. He's still guarding between them and the net. So that way, if they want to take the under, be my guest, you run into Anthony Davis. If you want to take the over, get chased and have to dump off to someone else, gives AD enough time because he's quick, like you said. He's quick enough to get back to his man. So I think that coaching will play a decent part into this if they're able to do similar things that they were able to lock down from the Portland series. I think it'll be closer. I still want to go with Klay and Steph, but I think the gap is slimmer than people expect because of the level of defense being played by Drew and Rondo.
Well, and obviously that's going to slow down the guard play, but then again, we go back to Kevin Durant. Now, now maybe, again, this is a little bit crazy because he's so big, but, I mean, it's not that much of a height difference. Would you put Anthony Davis on Kevin Durant or at least try it?
I think you have to give it a shot. I mean, you have the wingspan of Anthony Davis. Like you said, height-wise, they're close. Wingspan, they're close. Like, it's just the best physical matchup for them. My concern is I would eat it. Like I said earlier, I would eat it. If I put Nico on Draymond Green, I'd be 100% okay if Draymond Green's the guy who beats me because he can't do it night in and night out. He was incredibly hot in the playoffs last year. I don't think he's that guy every year. This year, shooting-wise, he's fallen off pretty well. So I think he's back to normal. So if I'm going in, I'm hiding Nico on Draymond. I'm putting AD on KD, and we'll see what happens. Like, it's a series. That's a nice thing. So there's no reason to not give it a shot for a night, half a game, whatever it is. See how it works out. See how they change. That's why I love series in basketball because it's so much mind games and coaching around it.
Wait 1 second. And the thing that you just mapped out was why I will pick the Warriors in this series is because, it's like, all right, I'll put AD on KD, and then, Draymond gets Nico. You're not going to shut down all three of Steph Thompson, and Durant. Like, they're going to get their points, and then if you add Draymond Green getting some offense because Nico's guarding him, that is not going to help you as well. Like, they are so, like, even the second unit. Like, to me, if the Pelicans want to win this game, they have to win the second unit when all four of Green, Durant, Klay, and Steph are not on the court.
They'll never be off
no,
on the
I mean,
court.
like,
They'd rotate.
No, I know that.
When they're not on
when
the
they're
court
on
together.
at the same time.
So when you have like three of them on,
yeah,
or two of them on.
Two of them on.
Just clarifying.
Yeah.
But one thing that I was going to bring up was if you do have, let's say the best four players against the Pelicans and the best four players against the Warriors defensively matched up. So you have Nico on Draymond, you have AD on KD, you're going to have Rondo on Curry, and then you're going to have Drew on Klay. The one thing is going to be who's going to be the fifth starter for both teams, because we see JaVale getting minutes in that last game and getting the start. He got 14 minutes and he got the start in that San Antonio game, but we also saw Andre Iguodala get time and get starts as well. He's been, he had a couple of good games. He had some games where he was pretty lackluster. He hasn't been that great this season. But what do you think the fifth starter is going to be for this Warrior team? And then how do the Pelicans counteract that? Because are you going to go with Nico, AD, and then throw another big man into that system? Or are you going to throw another like a Meccan Okafor in there coming off the bench? I mean, like what's going to be the game plan?
They roll with 3-1 more in the first round, all 4 games. I think that's. You can't go double big against the Warriors without having
Yeah.
No, without having Boogie in there. Like he's a unique big man. I don't think that you want to get someone like Emeka Okafor in there alongside AD. I think that's could slow up your play too much and be hurtful because the speed at which the Warriors play and they can turn games around is incredible. So you don't want to have a situation where they're able to take fast breaks to you every single time because they will just ramp the speed up and kill you with that pace. So I think that they rolled with Etuan Moore in the first round. It worked out pretty well. I think you go back to that well and see how he matches up. I mean, again, it's going to be a mismatch no matter what you do, but at least it will put you in a better position than it will like putting out another big like Okafor out there. Even in limited minutes, I'm still concerned about having him with Anthony Davis in just a too big of a lineup.
So if they do go Etuan Moore and they counteract that with the JaVale McGee, I mean, that's pretty much going to take that, the Anthony Davis on KD ability away, or it's going to take away. It's going to take Nico away. So I mean, you're going to have Draymond and Etuan matching up. I mean, that's going to be, again, you're going to, you keep saying Draymond.
Beat me with Draymond.
But also Draymond against Etuan Moore, that's not fair. I mean, Draymond with his body, Draymond inside 5 feet away is going to be able to bully down Etuan Moore.
That's why you have help defense?
Oh, but is AD then going to come off KD, and then you're going to, that's
because you're going to leave someone
that's
wide open.
Where the Warriors going to be able to pick him. Yeah, I know.
Every single play is different. You can't say this is a script. It has to be done every single play like this. With rotations the way they work, with help defense, people busting into temporary zones. Like, there's so much going on coaching-wise. We're saying these matchups are like
but the Warriors
stapled together. It's never the case.
The Warriors are also great with the extra pass. So it's like, oh, we got the help defense, boom, boom. All right, someone's wide open, 3 made.
And usually if Draymond's making that pass, you're either going to end on Durant, you're going to end on Thompson, you're going to end on Curry, and we know how dangerous those guys from the outside. What are your thoughts on the fifth starter?
For me, the fifth starter, I want to lean more towards JaVale McGee just because he has size and he has been playing well in this Warrior system, but part of me feels like they might go to, I could see him go JaVale for game 1, and then it's like if they feel like they need more of an experience, go to a Andre Iguodala, because he brings the experience of being in playoff series and playing well in playoff series as well. So I would maybe lean JaVale and then go to Andre if things don't work out in game 1. Because the big thing is, will Steph Curry even play game 1? I think he is, because I don't know why you're ramping up the practice with no, if there's nothing like, oh man, this looks really bad, he's going to play. And they feel very positive after the practices.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Go ahead.
It's going to be, I am glad that Zaza Pachulia is not in the mix. Did not play any of those games against San Antonio. Maybe it's unprofessional, but I'm just glad.
Kawhi was out. They didn't need him to guard Kawhi.
I am glad not to see Zaza Pachulia in the playoffs. I hope we don't see him. But that was just a little remark I wanted to make. But Dave, Ricky's pretty confident that Steph's going to play game 1. Are you confident as well?
I have no idea. 100%. It's seriously no clue. It's Steve Kerr. Like he could play him, he could not.
Do they need him to play game 1?
Yes.
No. Really, you're so locked in as Warriors are going to blow out this series. It's not close.
No,
but he needs to play game 1.
No. It's only a blowout if he plays. If he doesn't play, the Pelicans, like I said earlier, it's a 4 or 5 game series. If Steph plays, it's a 6-7 game series with maybe the Pelicans winning. This is if he doesn't.
Still a banged up Steph. Again, he could be ramping up that practice, but that does not mean he's not going to be
better than no Steph.
But also,
I don't know. If he gets re-injured because his ankles are made of glass, do you want a banged up Steph out there?
But then they would have no Steph. So
But then also, let's go back to the 2015-2016 series. That was not Steph. The first couple games against Cleveland, he was not looking like the same Steph Curry. And then also the first game that he came back, I think it was in that against Portland. He sat out the Houston series. Or sat out most of the Houston series. I think he played game 1, then sat out the next 3, then came back in that first Portland game. I think he only put up 2 points, and we're like, all right, we're not ready to bring Steph back. I think that is definitely a possibility. And if you lose that first game and you bring Steph back, I think that's got to give the Pelicans an extra charge because, all right, Steph's down and we just beat them. And then if Steph comes back and they try to bring him back again, we already proved that if Steph comes back, we can beat him because he's not 100%.
How I look at this series is a Warriors team, like Dave brought up, what if Steph gets injured? Well, you don't have Steph then. You didn't have Steph before. If you're very confident in his practicing, you feel like he's ready to come back. Having Steph out there is a good thing rather than having him not on the floor.
But
if he is not on the floor,
2 more days of rest, 3 more days of rest to where he can
you
shore
could
up
be
those
down
ankles.
at that point. You could lose a game. You could lose 2 games.
But are you that
me.
concerned? I thought this was the Pelicans are a blow-off opponent compared to the Warriors.
Like I said, if Steph
Yeah,
plays.
so when he comes back and plays, then the 4-0.
Well, Dave's saying if he sits out
one
game, then it's going to change that to they're going to have to win 4 straight. And then also if they have the momentum winning the first game, the Pelicans, and Steph Curry isn't 100%, does that change your mindset? Are you just saying if Steph Curry plays at all in this series, they're going to win every single game or close to every single game? I think he needs to
play game 1. Now, if he sits out game 1, all right, it might not be the end of the world because even if the Pelicans go 0-1, the series is not over after 1 game. But if he sits out more than that 1 game, then I would be concerned, and then I would give the Pelicans a shot in this series. For me, I feel like everything I've heard, they're very confident in Steph Curry, looking like he's coming back. I think he's going to play game 1 because having him out here is better than not having him out there, and he is the linchpin in giving the Warriors an easier series against the Pelicans.
So you're not worried about him re-injuring that MCL?
Well, I mean, you can't worry about it that much because he can come back game 1 and re-injure it, or he can sit out 2 games and re-injure it. Like, it could be a freak thing that re-injures it. So I'm not even going to worry. It's how do you feel?
It's a sprain.
Yeah, but it's how do you feel in the practices? How are you looking? Like, it would be different if they were like, whoa, we don't feel that confident in it. No, we're going to shut you down.
But let's flash back. I mean, Steph Curry, how many do you think Steph Curry is going to say? I was going to say Flesh Curry. Do you think Steph Curry is ever going to say, no, I don't want to play?
No,
I mean, that doesn't seem in his nature.
I'm not saying Steph. I'm saying the team. The team has said they're very positive, especially after yesterday's practice.
We've seen guys hide injuries. I mean, if Steph's going to push himself in practice and look like he's okay out there, the doctors have no way to not clear him. I mean, again, if he's out there moving, he could still be in pain and grimacing. And then if he goes and starts trying to play at game level, near 30 minutes, that's where it's going to start aggravating himself. That's where he might not feel comfortable out there.
Have we ever had that problem with the Warriors training staff?
I mean, he was, again, going back to 2015, 2016, those first 3 games against the Cavs, he was not Steph Curry. And then also going back to the beginning of that 2015, 2016 series,
the difference
he was not the same Steph.
The difference there, you said Cavs. That means NBA Finals. There was no way he was going to miss a Finals game.
Round 1, he missed 3 games, and then
he missed all of round 1 this year.
And then round 2, he came back for that first game and looked terrible, and then sat it out because he wasn't healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you don't want a setback. That's the thing I'm thinking is you give him the extra day or 2 of rest and let him strengthen up. I mean, it makes a difference.
But you don't want the setback, and then also the whole thing is Steph has proven before that he's always wanted to play. He's never going to say he doesn't want to play. And he's also proven that he's come back way too early. He came back too early in 2015, 2016 and showed that he wasn't the same Steph Curry. That's the point I'm trying to make. Again, he can be uncomfortable out there and, again, still want to play because he's the leader of this Warriors team.
You got to put this into consideration also. This is a tougher second-round matchup than they had last year. I would say.
Well, that was the Houston series in 2015, 2016.
I would say this is a tougher matchup than they had last year because that was a Houston team without CP.
But then just playing devil's advocate, I think just using logic, wouldn't you rather, again, for a tougher competition, rather be 100% than, 85%? I don't think it's going to drastically change over a couple days, but again, just saying that.
If he's good enough to play, I would put him out there because I trust Steph Curry. I trust him. Like that would be me as Steve Kerr. Are you good enough to play? How do you think it feels? How do we think it feels by watching you practice? Because just having him out there can help this team.
Predictions for the series between the Pelicans and Warriors. Go.
I'm going to say Steph Curry plays game 1, and how it'll go is the Warriors will jump out 3-0, Pelicans will win game 4, and then the Warriors will wrap it up in game 5.
Dave, final thoughts on the Curry injury. Will he play game 1, the matchup between the Pelicans and Warriors, and then also give us a prediction?
Totally going to cop out on the Curry thing since this will go up after game 1's over. So I don't know. Whatever happens in that game. But I honestly think this is a series that's going 6 or 7. I think matchup-wise, it's so intriguing. Like we said, the back and forth of, how do you go AD versus KD, that chess match of offense and defense. And the thing is, I think it's going to be Warriors in 6 or 7. I think this team from the Pelicans is so good, but at the same time, they shot so incredibly well. I don't know if that's sustainable.
And what are your thoughts on just Steph Curry in general then? Are you thinking he's 100% in this series and they're still going to go 6 and 7, or are you thinking he's still going to be nagged by the injury and that's why they won't
I think he'll get off to a slow start.
Okay.
I think he does slow start, yeah.
I agree with you on the slow start, but just thinking more about the defensive pairings, I know Drew Holiday was unreal in that Portland series. I know Rajon Rondo, again, is playoff Rondo now. He just flips that switch. And I know Anthony Davis is, again, a top 3 player, or a top 5 player, maybe even. I don't know about top 3 because, again, when Steph, when healthy, we've seen how dangerous he could be, and Kevin Durant's obviously too. But, again, being a top player in Anthony Davis, it's tough to go against him. April Nico. But taking all that in, this is still the Warriors. Last year, they didn't lose a game, or they lost, they didn't lose a game last year in the playoffs, and they just lost their first one to the Spurs, and that was without Steph Curry. That was without the depth they had last year. I'm going to go Warriors in 5 if Steph is fine the game 1, and I'll go if he sits out game 1, I'll say Warriors in 6. But I think they're going to pretty much steamroll like you kind of think they are.
And just an update, Steph did partake in 5-on-5 today. And him and Kerr, all good things, felt positive with it.
Yeah, but he's still questionable, and I know you mentioned that like with the Patriots,
it's questionable.
Saying questionable is just that. But we'll see what happens with Steph Curry if he plays game 1. Let us know what you think about the Pelicans and the Warriors. How long will it go? Will Steph Curry be healthy? Can the Pelicans pull off another upset? Dave and I picked the upset, but still it was a lower seed versus a higher seed. This would be a true upset, though, if the Pelicans win that. All right, but let's move into Wet Boys, our favorite reoccurring segment. We got our Wet Boy counter. We already gave out our regular season Wet Boy honoree, and we are going to go into the playoffs. Last week, it was Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis, and Chris Paul were our 3 Wet Boy vote getters last week. Now we are moving into the second week. We are going to go from April 20th to today, April 26th. Well, today's the 27th, but April 26th, last games. We did have games wrapped up. The Cavs already lost. That's going to a game 7. And then the Raptors secured. They defeated the Wizards. So that's going to be something that we don't take into consideration. So if you're pissed off that Depot isn't here, if Depot wins game 7, then we'll probably have him in next week because he went off for a triple-double, even had 3 steals in that game in game 6 against the Cavs.
Nah, man, it's got to be Lance Stevenson.
It could even be Lance. But let's jump into our Wet Boys for this week. We are talking about the dampest of dudes, the soggiest of shooters, the moistest of men. We are talking Wet Boys. These are boys that popped off throughout the past week in the NBA playoffs, had ridiculous stat lines, hit some milestones. Ricky Widmer, we're going to go to you first. Give us your Wet Boy of the week.
Mine was a little bit difficult this time because I wanted to go with like Dom Mitch. I almost went with DeMar DeRozan, but I had to settle on Golden State. We just talked about. I'm got to go with KD, the best player. Some would say best player in the league. No, LeBron James is the best player. But the thing is, 34 points one game, 25 another. Yeah, I know he lost by 13 in that first one, but he was doing it all. Double-double, didn't want to pass the ball, only 2 assists, but scored the points, got the boards, and then team sealed out the series victory in that second game where he had 25 puntos.
I'm going to stop you, Dave, because I think we need to talk about the true best player in the NBA. We're going to go to my Wet Boy, LeBron James.
Oh, you sure Dave's isn't
I see how it is.
We're going to go to the you just dropped the whole Kevin Durant's the best NBA player. We're going to go. I know that he's going to a game 7 for the first time in his life in the first round. But LeBron James, he dragged the Cavs to 2 victories.
You know who never went to a game 7 in the first round? Michael Jordan.
Cool.
That's because they never had game 7s in the first round.
Oh. Okay, that was that was one thing, real quick. Greeny and the Get Up people, Beetle, Greeny, and Jalen. And I think Ike Taylor was on it too.
Ryan Clark was there too.
Ryan Clark, not Ike Taylor. Thank you. Ike Taylor, I think, is on NFL Network. Yeah. But Ryan Clark, the people on Get Up, they were talking about which one was more impressive. LeBron's buzzer beater against Pacers in game 5.
Craig Elo all day, every day.
Can I finish talking?
I was
Jesus
You're not
Christ.
allowed to say things on the show.
The only reason I did that was I heated with him in the car yesterday about it.
LeBron shot game 5 against the Pacers. Very similar to the Elo shot where Michael Jeffrey Jordan hits the game winner over Craig Elo. And the one thing that Greeny mentioned was it was in game 5 that Jordan hit it. That was the winner, and the Bulls were down. So if he didn't hit that shot, they lose that one. And, LeBron, it was tied. He misses that shot. They just go in overtime. So that's the one reason I agreed with Greeny. I think he won the argument there. So if you're siding with LeBron, Dave, I'm sorry. I'm going with Michael Jordan.
I didn't.
Weirdly enough.
I didn't settle with LeBron.
You went with LeBron?
No, he was just so upset over the thing that he argued with himself out loud.
Yeah,
he does that often.
I was just so like
He was steaming.
angry about it. But looking back, Michael only lost one game in the first round.
Ever?
Yeah. Well, in the championship run. I mean, the 80s was different. That was not Michael Jordan. That wasn't Air Jordan.
Okay.
Right.
Anyways, I mean, he had the shoes in '86, so
No, but
Air Jordan was '86.
I mean, like the Jordan that we like that I was born for. I was born in '90s. So I didn't see the 80s.
Anyways, let's get into what boys. LeBron James over the past week from 420 to 426, put up 35 points per game, 12 total rebounds, 8 assists, 53 field goals, and 90% from the line. LeBron James was absolutely disgusting, carrying them to 2 wins in game 4 and 5, and now wasn't able to do it in Game 6, so we'll have LeBron James in a Game 7 for the first time in his first round. And Dave, there's no way you can top that, right?
No, you guys talking best player Kevin Durant, best player LeBron James, best player Jingles, just out there killing it day in, day out for the Utah Jazz, dropping 19, 4 and 3, 47 from the field, 47 from 3. Guess what, boys? He is the wettest of boys. His shot from the outside drops all the time. You can't stop Joe Ingles.
I love the sound the Jazz, like every time they hit a 3, the like coin sound. I fucking love it. I go like crazy every time it happens.
I love him. I love this kid since before the year. He's an old man, but whatever. I loved him since like before this year started. I picked him out like before the year, and Sean's giving me shit about Joe Ingles, and
I remember
proved me wrong.
Yeah, I was say I just love watching him out there playing. It's a perfect fit to their system, and I just. He is the ultimate guy on this world.
Congrats to Jingles. You're in that contract.
Speaking of that, you reminded me of something. By calling him a kid, we got a comment.
I was going to bring that up.
We got a comment where it's like,
I was looking at Twitter and I was like, I was going to bring something up.
And the thing is first off, when we talk draft, they're like, oh, don't call them kids. They're the same age as me. I'm 28.
I think they're talking about me.
Yeah, I know, but it's like they're kids to Dave and I.
I can call
if I was still teaching, which was my main profession at the time, they would be kids to me because I would be teaching them.
Again, it's something where I am also just a kid. I'm 20 years old, so like, if someone called me a kid, I'd be like, yeah, it's acceptable.
I pretty much call anyone
How
under.
dare you call them?
I live with my mom, and she takes care of my finances still. So like, I'm still a kid.
But okay, Sean, I call anyone under the age of 40 a kid. Yeah. Like nothing's out of my reach.
But at the same time, Mark calls both Johnny and I man children. Yeah, so there's that too.
I think there's a difference there. I think we can just settle though that this is probably the best week of Wet Boys we've ever had. We have the holy trinity of the greatest players in NBA history.
No argument. 1, 2, 3 in one order.
In KD, LBJ, and the God himself, Jingles.
But so reading off in reverse order with Sean.
Yeah.
Well,
3, 2, 1.
You got to go from worst to best. You know?
That's what I said.
We're going to go, let us know your Wet Boys down in the comments below. Well, let's move into the first draft topic, and we're going to talk the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're going to do the Kings in the next topic, but we talked a little bit about the Kings. We talked, how does Michael Porter Jr. fit with the Kings? And that one's still a little bit relevant because the Kings are picking 6, and that's kind of where we've put MPJ.
7th. Boulder 6.
Picking 7. But then still, MPJ's in that range. Probably might go a little bit earlier, but that one still fits. But we'll still talk about the Kings even outside of that 7th pick. We're going to talk about the team at 8, the Cleveland Cavaliers, getting that pick from Brooklyn. And this one's going to be interesting because are they going to be taking a player to play next to LeBron James, or are they going to be taking a player that's going to be the next star or the next guy that takes over for LeBron James? What are you guys' thoughts here?
I'm leaning hard towards someone to add to LeBron James because I don't think he's going to.
Well, it depends if he loses in Game 7.
If he loses Game 7, you think you go for the rebuild? You go for someone like a Trae Young?
If he loses Game 7, he's gone. So
that's what I'm saying. You go for the rebuild. Yeah. That's exactly what I said.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. The reason why is because if he loses Game 7, I think he will be gone. It's not like is he? Won't he? It'll be. Fuck,
you think it's
we
just
have
hard
to.
out?
Yeah, it's like we have to because. We can't win with this, and he can't drag us to the final. He can't even get out of the first round, so why would he want to stay? Kind of a thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. But at the same time, it just feels like LeBron leaving Cleveland for the second time. I don't know.
He won him a ship. Don't matter now. He can leave when he wants.
Yeah, it still feels a little dirty. He
did what he promised.
I would go, regardless of LeBron staying or leaving, I would still probably lean, and I know I'm going to get shit from you for this saying this, Sean, but I would probably still go Mohamed Bamba there.
Hell yeah.
Oh, so now you're cool with
Hell
Mo
you saw him on the jump, didn't you?
I did see him on the jump, and I really enjoyed it.
You saw him hit 9 straight threes in practice, uncontested?
I really enjoyed it.
He's top 3 now. He can hit threes. What was the thing on the jump from
I like how
Mo
Dave
Bamba?
really quietly, he's like, I did see his interview on the jump.
What was the thing with Mo Bamba? I didn't see him on.
He was on the, just talking about the draft.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say, he was on the jump.
No, he's a great,
he
it was
wasn't
just
actually on
great
it.
personality as well.
Oh, okay.
But plus he said that he practiced with JoJo. And I was like, oh, he likes Joel Embiid. So
Right
Dave's gonna
there,
like
right
him
there.
now.
So you got a mentor built in.
He's a mentor. We've been talking about the comparison that if he builds out, hey, maybe he's the next Joel Embiid.
Look.
We're throwing it out there, and they do need a rim protector.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think even if LeBron leaves, fine. I still think Mohamed Bamba is a great piece for a team because, like you said, if he grows into his body, like he could be a monster, and his offensive game continues to grow. Yeah, I think he's got scary potential. But if LeBron stays, you now have that like guy who can hold down the 5, be your rim protector, but also has the ability to stretch the floor a little bit. I think the thing really comes down to like we're watching Kevin Love struggle horribly right now in the playoffs again, and it seems like this might be a common trend. So I think that, if he becomes a piece to move and you go Bamba, you've got a big to hold down. I think it could work out well.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. And let's look at the mock draft right now, and let's see the players that might be available. Right now, due to my last mock draft, we'll just go off my mock draft because it's the one that's first.
Oh, okay.
I'm also the host. We're going to use my mock draft.
I'm glad you said because it's first, because I don't know what I would do if you said, because it's right.
To be fair, I think we have...
I also think mine's right.
I think we have 7 out of 7 of the same players going in the top 7.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do we really?
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's just go off that then. So still, my mock draft would have worked.
Because Dave had Mo Bamba not in the top 10.
You guys don't have to be butthurt. But anyways, from 8 down, players available: Mo Bamba, Wendell Carter, Miles Bridges, Colin Sexton, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kevin Knox, Zana Musso, Robert Williams. Now they're trying to falling out of that range. Mm-hmm. In that 8 spot, is there any prospect outside of Mo Bamba you think they're going with? If they're at the top 7 that we had originally, Michael Porter Jr., Mikal Bridges, Trae Young, Marvin Bagley, JJJ, Luka, and DeAndre Ayton are off the board.
There's 3 options to me at number 8. One of them is Mo Bamba, so 2 besides Mo Bamba. To me, how I think about it is if LeBron stays, there's 2 options. Do I go Mo Bamba, which is one that I would probably go with? But if he's off the board, let's say the Kings go with him, then it's like, all right, LeBron stays. Do I go with a guy like Miles Bridges, or if like a Mikal Bridges is there to fill in that kind of 3 role? Because right now on the depth chart, it's like, all right, we've got Jordan Clarkson and Jose Calderon who are point guards. Rodney Hood, JR, George Hill can be that too.
Well, you got to also think about contracts. Rodney Hood, I think, is coming up
and then it's like you've got right now CD and Korver are your 3. Look at that and I
don't
go,
you dare throw shade at my boy Kyle Korver.
Well, he gave a little hot sauce.
He's also 90 years old.
But the thing is,
shooting never ages.
I feel like the 3 could be somewhere they go to. However, that's the same question if LeBron leaves. It's just different. If LeBron leaves, I think the 2 you look at is number 1, Colin Sexton then becomes the main target, because it's like, yeah, we've got Jordan Clarkson, but is he the guy we want to roll out there to be our main point guard? Or do we want to draft Colin Sexton and be like, you are now going to be the man who runs this offense, makes this offense go?
And Clarkson's also a 2. I mean, he's more of a shooting guard.
It could also be, we got our point guard, we're fine in Clarkson. Let's get that 3 because LeBron's not there, especially if a Mikal Bridges falls and is there at 8.
Sean,
Clarkson's a 2.
I know, but right now on the depth chart, he's a 1.
Yeah, but the depth chart's wrong. Are you going off of who are you going off?
ESPN.
Okay, maybe they're wrong.
Unless you go, unless you want to go George Hill at the 1.
Well,
he's more of a 1.
I know, like George Hill, Jose Calderon.
They're both tweeners.
I would still take Colin Sexton over all 3 of them.
The point is you're starting Jose Calderon right now, and that sends a message that you don't have a point guard.
Yeah.
Bingo.
I think that's all. Like, George Hill is the ideal 3 and D point guard for LeBron James. Yes. He's also on an awful contract that you're stuck with, so you're gonna have to deal with that. I agree with Ricky. It's Bamba, it's Bridges, and then it is
Colin
Sexton.
Like, and it's either Bridge too. Like, I'd take Miles or Mikal.
We all have
if he
Mikal
falls
off the board.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm assuming the Kings won't pass on Mikal or Porter. One of those two
unless they
will
go
be gone.
Bamba.
Unlikely, but
unless they do.
Maybe they think Willie Cauley-Stein's not going to be there, and then maybe they look to move him, and they think Mo Bamba's the future. But let's say that. Let's say Mikal's on the board and Mo Bamba's on the board. do they go Mikal Bridges no matter what, or do they still think about getting a 5?
Oh, man, that's tough because I think that Mikal adds to the team, but I don't know that he could ever be a 1 on a team. So if LeBron is done, I would lean towards potential. I swing for the fences.
Okay, but then that kind of brings up, and real quick, do you think that Mo Bamba, again, we talked about 5s being a 1, a number 1 option. Do you think Mo Bamba and 5s can still be a 1 in the NBA?
I mean, it depends on how much you believe in him being, the next JoJo. If you do, wonderful for you. I don't think he's going to be that good. I think he'll be pretty good, but if I have a choice of someone who's going to be a 12-year 3-and-D player who can get me 14 a night, that's a nice piece. That's a nice piece, but by no means is that going to push you over the top. Mohamed Bamba could give you something unique that you could build around. And again, the NBA it's cyclical. Like, it changes the way people play over years. Like, we went from a physical league, rules changed. Oh, look, now guards can do whatever the hell they want because if you breathe on them, it's a call. Then it turned into, we're just going to go pick and roll like crazy because moving screens are easily available. Those who can do it succeed. You get mismatches like crazy. And now we're seeing teams experiment with some bigs doing unique things. I think that the NBA is not a static league. You can't say this is the template to go for and just run with it because you can get players are all unique. You can get a unique guy and build around him. And that's a mismatch for everyone else.
Think of it this way, though, and I'll go back to the Embiid thing and the 5 being the 1. Yes, Joel is good, but when he didn't have Ben Simmons out there, this team was not a playoff team.
But he also had no one else out there.
No, I know.
He didn't have a J.J. Redick or a Marco Bellinelli or
a 5 alone in this NBA right now. Yes, it could change 5 years down the line, but right now, a 5 can't be the only one out there. And
but that's not the question.
No,
that's not the question.
But I'm leading it into.
Is Joel Embiid the best player on the 76ers?
Debatable. I would say Ben Simmons is the best player on the 76ers.
Okay, so that's kind of taking away that Dave's saying a 5. You're saying a 5 can't be the one then because the best player is Ben Simmons. And no one's saying that Mo Bamba could be the only player on the Cavs and be a great team.
Leading into that was if I have an inkling, if I'm Dan Gilbert and it's like LeBron is leaving for sure, the pick
I'm selling the team.
No, well, yeah, but the pick I would make is Colin Sexton. That is the pick I would go with because we already discussed how they don't really have a point guard behind LeBron James, a true point guard, and I need someone who can be that number 1 option. I'll go with Colin Sexton over my 3, over my 5.
All right. I mean, I agree with you that, again, a 5 can't be the number 1 option on a team. I think we're seeing more, and some people might say Anthony Davis is a 5, Kid's a 4. And I mean, most of these guys that
we go back and forth on those arguments.
But most of these guys
could be a 4.
Maybe, but I see him more.
DeAndre Ayton wants to be a 4.
That's again like most of these guys want to play that 4. Cat's a 4 as well. Most of these guys that are great offensive talents that are near 7 feet tall are mostly playing that 4 position. So again, it's really that 5 spots coming to a straight rim protector. So I think Mo Bamba will be a 5. Dave dropped his phone. Will be a 5, and he's got a shitty ingredient, so I'm just going to call it out. But again, it's like with Mo Bamba, I don't think he's ever going to be a 1 on a team, but I think he still has the potential. If he's going to be drafted to a team that has LeBron James on it, they clearly need that rim protector help. They need to get rid of Tristan Thompson's contract by any means necessary, and they need to bring in a rim protector that can truly change that team. And we see Mo Bamba's length and athleticism and his wingspan be absolutely ridiculous and dominant in college, and I think that could translate to the NBA. Some people would say Hashim Thabit, but still, I think Mo Bamba with his wingspan alone can stop block a shot a shot and a half.
What?
He can block a shot and a half. Over a couple of games. So I think Mo Bamba next to LeBron James is the right pick, but I'm gonna lead towards Ricky in the sense of I need a number 1. But I think a guy that we haven't mentioned yet that could be in this range, and he's never been a top 10 pick. I think recently, or he wasn't a top 10 pick in our last mock draft. It's a kid from Kentucky. It's Kevin Knox. I think that. Again, he's very raw, but he's got the scoring ability to possibly be a number 1 option on a team. Now, I don't know if he has the consistency yet. I don't know if he has the true quickness to be a 1, but we saw spurts at Kentucky. We saw spurts throughout the year that he can, one, be a leader. He was a leader early on in the season for Kentucky, kind of fell off a little bit, and Shea Gilgeous picked that up. But Kevin Knox early in the season for Kentucky was a leader. He's shown ability from the outside. He's shown the ability to kind of show an all-around game. The only question is, will he be a scorer, or will he be an all-around player like LeBron is, where he's being able to distribute, being able to rebound, being able to be the leader on the team, both facilitating and scoring? That's the real question, is how much is he limited and how high is the potential? And that's the reason why he's not a top 10 pick, is because there's a lot of questions around him on what his fit is in the NBA. But if LeBron's leaving, I think Kevin Knox is at least in the discussion. I just want to throw his name out there.
Well, I mean, the thing that comes, there's two questions to me that I want to throw out with that. Number one is, based off of ours, all of us have McHale going before the Cavs, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So that means the first question is, which person do you put higher on your board? Do you put Miles Bridges or do you put Kevin Knox? That's the first question. You guys can go ahead and answer it.
Wait, Miles or
Kevin? Basically, Bridges or Knox? Who's your higher one?
Well, there's two Bridges, so I just want to clarify.
Yeah, Miles Bridges, because McHale's already gone. I
think it depends on the team. And I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, if I'm a team that's looking for a number one, it's Kevin Knox.
Okay.
But if I'm looking for a guy to play next to LeBron, or if I'm a guy to play next to Kevin Porzingis, Jesus Christ,
Kevin Love,
Kristaps Porzingis, I'm thinking Miles Bridges, just because again
he's a good wing.
He's going to be more consistent. He's going to be solid. He doesn't have that same probably potential, but also he's a safer pick.
Let's put it this way. The situation is, we're talking about the Cavs, so you're picking for the Cavs. LeBron is staying. We're not going to say he's going.
I just said that. Again, if playing next to a guy like LeBron, playing next to a solidified number one, Miles Bridges, he's a safer pick. He's going to be able to contribute earlier, and you're not going to have him wait, because Miles Bridges is going to help a team like the Cavs, an NBA contender, an NBA title contender with LeBron James, help them right away. So Miles Bridges is clearly the pick. Kevin Knox is going to take time to develop into the player that he'll be. LeBron's window, maybe it's not closing in 5 years, but it's going to be closing at some point. That's
ridiculous to say out loud.
I know I don't want to put a cap on it, because if I say 5 years, he's going to play for 10 more years.
He's playing until junior plays.
Exactly. I don't know when
they're going together.
Yeah. So I don't
38, 39.
Like Ken and
that would be 5 years. That would be 5 or 6 years. I think right now he's 33. So
like the Griffies.
Again, like the Griffies. But in the Kingdom. But again, I think that if you're going to put him next to LeBron, it's Miles Bridges. He has the experience, he has the leadership, and also I think he's more of a well-rounded player to help a playoff team. So I think it'd be Miles Bridges if we're talking small forwards only.
Do you agree, Bridges over Knox?
I do in that situation. I think it's a better fit for them, and I think that way Bridges can be on the court more often, and his role would be a bit larger than Knox's would be. I have a fear that Knox would kind of shrink down minutes-wise, wouldn't get as much playing time with a solid unit, so he'd be more kind of put into a role early on, and we wouldn't get to see him develop maybe as much as he could somewhere else where he's given better opportunity.
Now, here's the second question to that. So we've already answered Bridges over Knox.
With LeBron staying on the Cavs.
With LeBron staying on the Cavs. Now the second question puts in some new stipulations. Mo Bamba is also off the board. So now...
He's on the board?
He's off the board. Like, the Kings took him.
Okay.
So now the question...
We're pretty unanimous that Bamba would have been the pick over him.
So now the question becomes, in my mind, if you're the Cavs, LeBron is staying, do you go with Miles Bridges, or do you go with the next big available, which would be Wendell Carter?
I would go Carter.
Hold on, wait. The question's up. The last question, real quick. The last question was about Kevin Knox versus Miles.
The first question was...
If Mo Bamba's available, I'm going Mo Bamba.
That's the point.
No.
We all were saying Bamba is the one that we would probably mock.
Okay.
So let me explain this. The first question...
I'm being asked questions as the host. I'm just confused.
Well, Ricky's saying 8 people are drafted before the Cavs go.
I understand.
Somehow.
If Mo Bamba's not the pick, what small forward would you pair with LeBron? What small forward would you take if LeBron was leaving?
Kind of.
We said if LeBron was leaving, it would be Kevin Knox. And if you're going away from Mo Bamba, and then also if you're going to pair a guy with LeBron James at that 8 pick, and McHale or Mo Bamba's off the board, you're going Miles.
Let me explain the thought process here. So we were debating between the 5 and the 3 if LeBron stays. So the first question was solidifying which 3 in our mind is higher on our big board. We each have the same thought process: Bridges over Knox. So cool. The 3 that we would pick would be Bridges.
Yes.
Now the question comes in if we're going Bamba Bridges, I'm assuming most of us would say Bamba.
Yes.
So I'm putting in the stipulation that Bamba's not there. Next big comes up, that would be Wendell Carter. Now that it's Wendell Carter and Bridges, does that change it, or do you still go with the big over the 3?
The only thing, though, is that means someone has to fall. So that means Mikal would be falling, or that would mean Michael Porter Jr. is falling.
Then let's say Mikal falls for the sake of argument. Mikal, Wendell Carter. Do you still go 5 over the 3 if it's not Bamba?
I would say Mikal then, because I know Wendell Carter, again, an all-around player, has shown the ability to be a defender down low. But I think one reason why you take Mo Bamba is because of that potential. And what we said Wendell Carter was last week is that he's a really solid kid. He might not have a massive ceiling, but he has a pretty high floor. Like this kid, at worst, if we're looking at 2K ratings, again, I know people always get confused when we say floor and ceiling.
Yeah.
The floor, the lowest that kid will be at his peak is going to be like an 82. And at his highest, when he's in his prime, it's probably going to be like an 89. So that's the one thing with Wendell Carter. With Mikal Bridges, though, he might peak out at an 89, but again, it's something where he's going to be so valuable at the position he plays, being a 3-and-D player, that it's going to be, change, because he's going to be like a Klay. Again, like the peak of him is going to be like a Klay Thompson. So I think Mikal Bridges is the more valuable pick, especially playing next to LeBron James.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against a 3-and-D player wing and LeBron James. Like that that's the match made in heaven. I understand the deficiencies of not having a 5 there. They can dig up someone to play there. They will find a way to make that work. I like Wendell Carter a lot, though. That's the thing. Like I feel like, I still see like the potential to be like Al Horford-esque in his role. A solid rim protector, and I think without having someone like Bagley next to him soak up boards, his numbers would look better there as well. So, it's just LeBron James in 3D wing. Like I can't go away from it. I'd be lying to myself.
I think we should have made probably 2 videos of this. It'd probably be which prospects best fit the Cavs with LeBron James, and which prospects best fit the Cavs without LeBron James.
You missed out on more content.
But too late in this one. We're already
we'll probably hit that one up right around the draft time. when
it gets closer with the rumors.
Kevin Love being traded and LeBron James leaving.
But let's stick on the topic and let's talk about which prospects best fit with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and let's kind of say, hey. We'll break it up kind of again.
Go ahead.
We've seen Cleveland get pretty lucky in the lotto before.
Ooh.
What if they get the number 1 overall pick?
Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
The Bulls are getting number 1 overall
pick.
I've always said that.
Jesus Christ. Can you just have fun once on a segment? Can you just answer the question once?
No, he doesn't answer questions,
If they
Sean.
get the number 1 pick.
They get the number 1 pick. I know. After 3 years, it's been frustrating, right? Some people are like, why are you so into Ricky? Because I can't get a
Your
thought
job is to ask
off.
questions, and you can't ask questions.
Man,
It's always like, hey, Ricky, it's raining out. Oh, is it really raining, or is it the window?
Hey, man, the first segment, you didn't give me the right option.
Ricky, do you like rain?
Option A, option B. Well, neither.
Ricky, do you like rain? Well, I don't like snow. Like,
it's not too far off.
That's just what happens. Anyways, let's come back. Let's say Cleveland gets lucky. They win the lotto again. They're the number 1 team. This is going to be first who best fits the Cleveland Cavaliers at number 1 without LeBron James. Give us 3 prospects that you probably think would fit with Cleveland Cavaliers without LeBron James, and rank them 1 to 3.
Luka, and Luka.
No.
Okay, so Luka's 1 for Dave. Luka, let's go to Dave first. While you think, Ricky.
I have mine.
You're him and Han over there.
I'm going to start at 3.
There's a deep sigh.
Well, Dave already started. So
Okay,
I
go
already
ahead.
dropped my dial-on rant. Go ahead.
So you're going Luka?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going 3 to 1. So the third best would be Michael Porter Jr.
You just pulled a Ricky.
I know.
Yeah, I know. But so I'll go 3-1.
Okay.
So the third best is Michael Porter Jr. The second is Trae Young, or Luka, and then Trae Young number 1. That's
So
what I would
no
do.
DeAndre.
You said without LeBron James.
Yes, I did.
Yes. So I want the point guard.
Okay.
I'd go Luka
He
or
wants
Trae
a
Young.
ball handler.
I'll go Trae Young. With LeBron James, it's 8-8-8. Can't you see?
You can't do that to me.
Exactly. Like that's what it is. I'm going DeAndre Ayton. Don't even think about 2-3 because there's no other.
That's
one
really
option
interesting that
behind
you
it.
would. So what do you do with Kevin Love?
Move him to the. Well, DeAndre wants to play the 4.
Yeah, what do you do with Kevin Love?
So you're going to trade him, or are you going to
Force him to play the 5
force him
and
to play
watch
the
him
5
choke
again?
hard.
Yeah.
We'll find a spot.
He
We'll find a
chokes
spot.
So you're going to keep K-Love, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll find a spot for him. Or if he
I
decides to
don't
no-show
know
like
about
he is
that.
right now in the playoffs, I sit him and play Ayton.
So you're just going to
You're gonna
sit Kevin
sit
Love.
a
No, I mean,
perennial all-star
In a playoff series, if he's not showing up,
play
yes,
a
I'm going
rookie.
to sit him.
But just real quick.
Well, by that
Jesus
point, he's closer to
You
be
are
a second-year player than a rookie.
This is with LeBron James.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, with.
Just throwing it out there.
No, without it's Trae Young or Luka.
Okay. And then Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah,
at
third.
3. Okay. Dave,
I'm still trying to recover. My brain is
without
in pain.
LeBron James at number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
Who is the 1, 2, 3? And actually give me a 1, 2, 3. Luka's my number 1 for you.
Luka's my 1. I agree with Ricky. Trae would be my 2, and my 3 would be Ayton.
Okay.
So
why Ayton over Michael Porter Jr.? Because obviously Ricky didn't have him in there.
I haven't watched him work out yet. 100%. I need to see him at the combine. I need to see him moving. If he has that smoothness back to his motion, if he looks like he's comfortable again, I have no problem. But if he's not in shape, if he's going out there and having like really sharp motions to a shot like he had in his 2 games that we got to watch him actually play, like there are still so many questions there. Yes, the potential's there at the same time, but I would much rather go with someone at my 3rd best overall with Ayton. And that's someone who could be a dynamic player in the league.
So if Porter Jr. is moving fluidly, where does he sit?
He probably kicks the shit out of that 2 spot, and it would be Luka, Porter, and then Trae Young.
Dave made me think. I'm not going to change anything, but the thought process that I would have. Like,
you hurt my brain, Ricky.
I thought you were about to have a change of heart here.
No.
You know what?
No.
I was thinking, and now I'm going to add DeAndre Ayton or something.
No, the thing I'm thinking about, if I'm the Cavs, let's say LeBron's leaving for sure, and I feel like he is, the thing is that I might go to is, you know what? Let's just go 76ers it. Let's take Michael Porter number 1. We're shelving you for the whole year. Let's get another top 10 pick, pair it up, kind of like what they did with Ben Simmons and Markelle.
I mean,
you're the Cavs, so
actually,
and it's the weak East.
You're the Cavs, so you let K-Love go back to Fat K-Love as the number 1 option on the team. He'll drop 20 and 10 on you, no problem. Then you move him while his value's high.
Yep.
You get George Hill, Kevin Love. I think Jordan Clarkson will be around. Maybe Jeff Green will want to stick around. Larry Nance.
I love
there you go.
Nance.
That's your starting 5.
That is a dope team.
TT because LeBron got him in the contract. And
I like
left.
where you're going with this, Ricky. I like where you're going.
All right. So now you without LeBron James, we're picking Michael Porter Jr. and then redshirting him.
No, I'm just saying it could be an option.
Okay.
I'm still saying that.
I'm saying it's an option that I just popped in
Without
my head.
LeBron, what's the options?
Without LeBron.
Or I'm sorry, with
LeBron James.
What's the options?
With LeBron James, the 1, it's still really tough because I don't know that one of these guys necessarily fits what they currently have on paper, but this team, they swapped out like 7 players last year in the middle of the season, so there's no static answer here. I would still say that adding someone like Luka to that team would be my primary thing for the number 1 pick. I still think that he's someone who can come in, play, contribute at a high level right away. After that, I would go Ayton and Jaren Jackson.
Ooh.
I like Jaren Jackson better than Bagley.
Jaren Jackson at 1.
Would it be crazy if the Cavs went taking Luka out of it, just so Luka's 1, but then that second saying, you know what? Ayton and Triple J don't fit what we want because we have K-Love. Screw it.
Well,
Bamba's the one we take.
Oh.
Well, Triple J does 5 well. He is the best rim protector in the draft.
And Jackson, I think, would fit better for the Cavs' timeline because, again, he showed that he could working with a good team in Michigan State. He proved that he could play along with players like that.
Would it be crazy if the Cavs said, no,
Mo
we like this kid, we're going to take him number 1 and go
Yes,
Bamba?
I think that'd be a hell of a reach.
So you're saying if they would go number 1 with Bamba?
Yes.
I don't think he jumps Jaren Jackson
I'm just
in my mind.
throwing it out there.
Yeah.
What if?
I think, and going with that, with LeBron James, I think at number 1, Trae Young would probably be my 3rd, Luka would probably be my 2, MPJ would probably be my 1, but again, that's because I'm assuming that he'll be healthy.
Oh,
if not, it's a flip, and Doncic is 1.
Fair enough.
And then without LeBron James, no.
That was your without LeBron James.
That was without.
Yeah.
Okay. And then with LeBron James, Jesus.
Yeah.
It was a train wreck of a segment. With LeBron James, I'll go Ayton, Jaren Jackson. I agreed with you on that one. So that's why when you said it, I didn't know if you were going to say it.
Something about the consistency there.
And then I'd go Luka 1.
Yeah.
The other question would be, again, it goes back to we don't know if LeBron will be staying because the draft is before the free agency happens. So what is the strategy? Are they just going to try to make sure they get a clear answer from LeBron? What if they don't have a clear answer from LeBron and they're picking
It's
at
gut
8?
feeling. It's gut feeling at that. If you feel a little bit, if you feel 25% he's gone, not even. If it's 50-50 or less that he's staying, then I pick for the future at that point.
I mean, even if it's a 5% chance, I mean, that's still a chance that LeBron
5%
James
he's
leaving.
Staying? No, I'm saying 5% chance.
No, 5% he's leaving.
Yeah, no, I'm saying 50% or low that he's staying. I'm picking for the future because I'm not going to let one guy put my whole franchise in limbo.
I mean, it's LeBron freaking James.
I get it, but it's like
there's one man who can put my franchise in limbo. It's LeBron James.
But would you want to pick for LeBron James and then have him leave? No.
To be fair, like it's not like these guys are talentless without LeBron James standing next to them. They're still amazingly talented.
But I feel like I would pick a guy for LeBron, like to match with LeBron James, and be like, "Fuck, I would have went with somebody else, somebody that could have had more potential that I could have worked with." That's a discussion. Kind of like a, hey, I wanted to go with Victor Oladipo, but the front office talked me into going with Anthony Bennett.
Real quick, what's more likely? They take the pick at 8 or they trade it?
They
package it with Kevin Love
and Tristan Thompson.
No, they package it with Kevin Love
really
to move up with the
You really don't like Kevin Love?
To move up with the Grizzlies.
To 2.
Because think about that Grizzlies timeline. If you're rolling with Marc Gasol, Mike Conley, you add Kevin Love out there. I am just and Tyreek Evans.
Like Chandler Parsons.
Is that not a number 4 or 5 seed in the West?
With their health, no.
4 or 5 seed in the West.
With their health, no.
I know.
And with JB Bickerstaff?
But is that a team who would make the trade? Maybe.
Maybe. We'll see. Do they make the trade or they make the pick?
Oh, they're picking all day, every day because LeBron's leaving.
Yeah, gotta make the pick.
All right. Let us know if you think LeBron's leaving and what prospects best fit the Cavs with and without LeBron James. Let us know in the comments down below. Let's move into the final topic here on the Fast Break Podcast. Again, just real quick, check out patreon.com/mostofitpodcast if you want to be an MVP podcast, whether it's the Fast Break, the Primetime Podcast, the Onside Kick, the Ricky Johnny Podcast, or even our monthly Patreon podcast. Also, check out mostofitpodcast.com if you want to check out some merch. But boys, let's get into the final topic. We're talking about prospect needs for the Sacramento Kings. We talked just recently about the Cavs, and we also did a topic a little bit earlier in the season about why Michael Porter Jr. is the best fit for the Sacramento Kings. We were doing a little bit of a hot take, just getting some names and teams flowing around, but it's kind of fallen to Michael Porter Jr. territory for the Kings, where they've landed in the draft lottery. So right now, at this moment, with all the questions about his health, whether and don't bring up, what if he comes, healthy to the combine? This is at face value what we saw in the tournament, what we saw out of Michael Porter Jr. and his injury. At the slot the Sacramento Kings are slated to pick, do they go Michael Porter Jr. if he's available?
I would. And the reason why is in this league, the 76ers have shown, and the Kings, with one player, whoever they pick here at number 7, are not making the finals. Probably not even making the playoffs. So no matter what happens, I'd pick MPJ, even if I have to shelf him the year, give him that full year to get better, and then I get another top 10 pick to add with him.
I mean, that's... They could do it. They're the freaking Sacramento Kings.
They're the Kings. It's like if you're not winning the finals or going to the playoffs, why not? And you're getting a guy... Like, the thing with Michael Porter Jr. is before the injury, we were saying, best kid coming into college basketball, going to be the number 1 pick. Then the injury happened. So if I give him a full year to just say you're not playing...
And you have Harry Giles' rookie year being this upcoming year. So you have 2 number 1 kids out of high school.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a lot of talent and potential, but both guys with major injury concerns.
And injuries. Yeah.
But, I mean, again, look at the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, well, maybe not totally the same way because, I mean, Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz still performed in college.
Yeah.
But still, again, they didn't have that performance in their rookie year. And obviously much different because both were number 1 picks, and these guys are going to not be number 1 picks if they're Michael Porter Jr. and Harry Giles. But the one thing, again, it's something where if Michael Porter Jr. is available – for really any team, he's definitely on the board. It's just how concerned are you about those injuries? The red shirt idea is definitely out there, and I think that if he's on the board, I think that he can add a different level to this Kings team. You look at the starting lineup so far, clearly number 1, the number 1 starter for the Kings going for the future at point guard is going to be De'Aaron Fox. Yeah. At that 2 spot, it's going to be Buddy Hield. At that 3 spot, Bogdan Bogdanovic had a fantastic year, looking like a great three-point shooter from the outside, looking like a great 3-and-D player as well. Bogdan might have stolen away that 3 spot, but we've talked about Michael Porter Jr., and some people yelled at me for saying that Michael Porter Jr. is a 4 and not a 3. again, this was taking what we saw from that Missouri game. He did not have quickness. He did not have that explosiveness that made him look like he could be a 3 in the NBA. So right now, taking in this injury and taking what we know about Michael Porter Jr., he would play that 4, kicking out Scala Bissier and possibly Harry Giles from that starting lineup. And then at the 5, it'd be Willie Cauley-Stein, but also Willie Cauley-Stein's contract is coming up soon, and with the youth they do have in those bigs, in Scale, Michael Porter Jr. if they take him, and Harry Giles, it's definitely going to make that team have a ton of potential, but will it make it cohesive? If you're going for a cohesive Kings unit, does it still go back to Michael Porter Jr. in your mind, or are you going to go with a glue guy and maybe a Mikal Bridges, a guy that can possibly play that 3, and Bogdan, even though he was great, could possibly move to the bench as a 6-man?
No, I think actually Buddy's the one who eats bench on this one.
Okay.
Bogdan goes to the 2, and Porter's just, there's something about this Kings team where I feel like they need a guy to put them over the top. If you add another guy like Mikal, it could turn into a situation where they're a good, not great team. Like, that's where their development could top out at. If you don't have that one guy, like, De'Aaron Fox looked clutch as fuck at the end of the year. Like, this kid looks like he could have something special. But if it was just as that little bit of the Aprils that everybody sees, the April end of the season when everybody starts to have little bit, signs of hope. Like Malik Monk didn't get to play all year, and then look what happens when you give him a little time. He's dropping shots from everywhere. I just get concerned when rookie players pop off late in the year like that because I don't know if it's fool's gold or not.
Like, I think the team's kind of playing for nothing almost.
I think De'Aaron Fox is a very good player. I don't know if he's going to be, the best player on the team to lead a team to a championship kind of thing.
Now,
but does he need to be?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm leaning more towards you go for a guy with higher upside potential and Michael Porter to be a star. But yeah, I think Mikal, like we said, I think he fits better as he's a solid 2 on a team. I don't think he'll ever be a number 1.
The question is, I get why you're putting Michael Porter still available, because in your mock draft you were the only one that had him available at 7. Do you still think there's no way the Bulls draft him? Because to me, I think if Porter's there at 6, he's gone. He's a Bull.
Again, if you're saying that you're going to redshirt him, then possibly. But again, I'm looking at Michael Porter Jr. from what we saw at Missouri. I understand that he can become healthy. He can become the player that we saw coming out of high school. But I did not see that quickness at all, that flexibility in his hips, his ability to switch on defenders, his ability to move freely and flowly at all in any of those Missouri games. He looked slow, he looked downtrodden, and he looked massive out there. I mean, the kid's 6'11". Like, the kid's huge out there. He's more of a 4 in my mind than he is a 3.
The only reason he's this high is because Kevin Durant exists. Like, can we just say that frame-wise, that's what people are praying for?
And that's been an early projection for him. Like, if he hits his absolute ceiling, it's KD.
That's what I'm saying. That's what.
Yeah,
that's
and with his shot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the ceiling of Kevin Durant. So, I mean, again, I don't think he plays a 3.
Because I'm sitting here thinking that with me, Michael, I entertained the question because you kind of asked it, and it's like, okay, there's no for sure thing that he will be gone. But in my mind,
proud of you.
I mean, Zach LaVine is going to be, like, he's been out saying that he really wants Michael Porter Jr. I think how the draft will fall out, the Bulls will take him at 6. To me, it comes down to, if you're the Kings, do we go with a Mo Bamba? Because do we think that Willie Cauley-Stein is going to be the guy at the 5 for the future, or do they go with a 3 like if Mikal Bridges is there, if a Kevin Knox is there, if a Miles Bridges is there?
Real quick, I mean, with the Bulls, I want to throw this out there because if you're going to draft Michael Porter Jr., because this is going to affect the Kings, so this is why I bring up the Bulls. If the Bulls are sitting there and Michael Porter Jr. is on there and Mikal Bridges is on there, again, I know that people love the potential of Michael Porter Jr. And again, if he's healthy, but that's a lot of ifs. And also, if he's not healthy, his position in my mind is a 4. Where's he going to play? Where's Laurie going to play? Is Markkanen going to move to the 5?
From what I've heard, like, the whole thing is to trade Rolo. So, like, trade Rolo,
but do you feel comfortable at Markkanen at the 5?
To me, with this Bulls team, take best potential available, and that would be Michael Porter Jr. Whether he's going to be a 3, going to be a 4, and yes, it affects the Kings, and that's why, to me, I think the decision for the Kings comes down to, do we take a 5 or do we take a 3?
And I'm not going to.
Same thing we just talked about the Cavs.
I'm not going to argue that again with the whole take best player, best potential available. Again, I still think that he has that high potential. He's my number 1 player coming into this season, and that injury happened. Dave, do you think it's a little bit blind though, just to say that, and I'm not trying to crap on what Ricky said, but I'm just saying, do you think it's again a little bit blind to just say we'll make a fit that happens? We'll just go potential. Do you think it's a little bit blind, or do you think that you should just go potential in the NBA draft, especially when the Bulls are trying to find a star?
I think a lot of the times people overrate fit. I think that's one of the things we kind of were joking around about during the NFL draft was, oh, well, I could see where that team needs that for fit. Like, there's logic there. With the NBA draft, I want to say it's like 70-30 potential to fit. Like, if this player could be their top end, if they fully fulfill their potential, they're all of them could be all NBA, all whatever. But at the same time, you have to look at like, all right, well, where's the floor? Where's the expectation reasonably at? Where's the best case, worst case? Like, all of that shit matters. So that's why I'm thinking like fit at the end of the day, like that means that you believe that these people on your team are cornerstones, will be there regardless of whatever happens with your organization, your coaching staff. Those are the guys. Like if you're locked in with, for example, a team. The problem is this Kings team is so young. Mm-hmm. They got so many guys who potential's there. That's why they drafted them. But out of that team, I would say the only guys who are like staples in my mind are De'Aaron Fox and Bogey. Like those two.
I think you could throw Buddy Hield in because
Buddy Hield could be.
Yeah. Thank you for putting some respect on that name.
Well, real quick, Hield didn't start that many games. I think he only started 13 this year. Yeah. And he saw an uptick in his production. He was more productive from the 3-point line. Went a little bit down from his field goal percentage. Was a better free throw shooter. I think he also went up 2 points per game. I mean, he still was a little bit more productive.
But your bench shooting guard really shouldn't be a strong consideration in your draft. That's all I'm saying.
But also,
there's no shooting guard that warrants a take right now, but still.
This is also a focal point of a major draft in their mind. And again, Buddy Hield, before De'Aaron Fox was there, when he first came over, looked like
the Buddy Hield show.
The guy. So I'm just saying that I think they were also trying to figure out the fit of having Bogdanovich, having De'Aaron Fox, who struggled a little bit at the start of the season, but then really finished on strong, 13 points per game, 4.5 assists, a steal a game, 3.1 rebounds per game, shot 30% for the field, which for De'Aaron Fox is good, and then shot around 41% from the field. So again, De'Aaron Fox came on a little bit at the end of the year. So again, you're just trying to find how these guys fit, adjustments to the NBA. That was Bogdanovich's first year in the NBA. Mm-hmm. That was Buddy Hield's first full year with the Kings. That was De'Aaron Fox's first full year with the Kings. You're going to have more adjustment with Harry Giles as well. Coming back to that, though, again, I think that Buddy Hield's safe on the team.
I'm not moving Bogdanovich. I'm just saying that you don't avoid one of the most talented players in the draft because you've got a guy who you think is safe. Well, and unless I've got someone who is a staple, like let's go KP.
To this real quick. Okay, let's go to this real quick, though. If this is all about potential, then why isn't Michael Porter Jr. already off the board in the top 5 picks? How is he even falling to the Chicago Bulls at 6? If this is all about potential, a guy that was the number 1 player in high school.
I said 70-30.
Okay, but again, if we're talking about potential, Michael Porter Jr., again, if we're saying his top end's Kevin Durant, even if it's near impossible for him to hit that.
Yes.
Yeah, again, body-wise, if his top end's Kevin Durant, how is he not a top 5 pick? So that's why I'm saying Michael Porter Jr. might not be there at 74.
Isn't.
Here, I'll walk you through it in my mind. Where how I had the last mock draft, the Suns, they're going to, it's pretty much all the inklings early on is they'd go with Ayton. Mm-hmm. So go with Ayton.
He's a good fit, too.
Luka's the clear 2 if Ayton goes 1. Luka's either 1 or 2. So Grizzlies go that. With the Mavericks, you could go Porter, but you have Harrison Barnes, you have Dirk Nowitzki right now. So what, are you going to just play?
I don't think you're going
to play Michael Porter, but
you're not worrying about Dirk right now.
If I'm going to draft for just a power forward, I'll take Marvin Bagley for that because he's a power forward, and he's playing at that position very well in college. Then with the Hawks, it's, I want to go with a big, probably center, a 5'4" kind of a guy. Go with Triple J.
But wait,
do you think that Taurean Prince warrants avoiding
the Hawks could be the first one that could go Michael Porter?
Really?
I just think they would.
Because I think if the Mavericks' plan is to, hey, let's redshirt the kid because Dirk isn't for sure coming back next year, and also you shouldn't be worried about what Dirk Nowitzki's going to be doing. I love Dirk Nowitzki. He's going to be a lifetime Dallas Maverick as he should be.
But then
Dirk should realize that Michael Porter Jr. or drafting the guy to replace him is not a big deal. And if, again, this is all about potential, let me finish. If this is all about potential, why wouldn't Michael Porter Jr. be going?
Then what do you do at the 5? You're going to bring back Salah because Nerlens ain't going to be coming back.
Okay, but why do you need to address the 5 right away? If this is about potential, why does it matter about the fit? This is what the whole argument's about, is about potential.
I don't think the Mavericks are the team. Like, I don't think it all depends on what. Not everyone's going to do the 76er mind. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Thought process.
Yeah.
Of let's redshirt the kid. I don't think the Mavs and Mark Cuban and that whole
they're not going to
do that.
They redshirted those kids because they weren't healthy to play.
Yeah,
there wasn't a red shirt because that was the plan. They redshirted because they weren't healthy. Michael Porter Jr. is not healthy. That's why he won't play. But they had the thought process,
like even with Joe. Hey, he had some injuries in college. Fuck it, we're going to draft him. And if he's injured now, we're just going to sit him.
He was still hurt.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that was
I don't think Michael Porter will still be injured by the time we see the end of the combine.
And that's the thing of
we don't know.
I don't think so.
They could do that. I don't think Dallas would. I think they would go with a Marvin Bagley. I think the Hawks would be afraid of that also.
Do you think that Taurean Prince warrants, no, we can't draft, Taurean Prince is our guy, so we're going to stow away?
I'm not saying that comes into it. I'm saying they'd be afraid of that and then go Triple J.
Again, like you said, if we're going about potential, drafting a guy like Michael Porter Jr. does not mean Taurean Prince can't play on our team. You can slide defensively Michael Porter Jr. over the 5, John Collins to the Michael Porter Jr. to the 4.
I know where you're going with this.
John Collins to the 5, and you could keep Prince at the 3, and even then, Prince could still come off the bench and be a 6-man. I mean, we don't know the top level of Taurean Prince. Again, he was also on a bad team getting a ton of usage. So, again, he looked like a real promising NBA player, but is he a starter? I don't think that's surely defined. I'm just saying, if this whole thing, if this whole thing's about
need someone to run that team, like run that offense.
So then why wouldn't Michael Porter Jr. be the pick?
Because
I understand they have
Young can run it better.
Who's
as
that?
A point guard? Like, Trae Young can run it better as the point.
If the top is Kevin Durant, again, we're just trying to come back to...
Well, Trae Young is Steph Curry.
We're trying to get back to the Kings. My point is that Michael Porter Jr., if we're talking about potential in the NBA draft, this kid is not going to be there for the Kings. He's going to be clearly off the board.
Yeah.
So that's why, and even then, I think Mo Bamba could even be off the board then.
Exactly.
Because of this potential. And I think that's one thing that if they're going to be addressing the 5, that's going to be Wendell Carter. If they're going to be drafting the 3, it's going to be Mikal Bridges. Because Mikal Bridges, again, is a solid player, but his cap that we've talked about is a 2 on a team. So is the pick, then if Michael Porter Jr., Mo Bamba off the board, we'll even say Trae Young's off the board. We'll say Chicago takes him. If Mo Bamba...
So you're saying Bamba...
This video is going to get lots of love.
Porter...
Lots of love in this video.
So you're saying Bamba, Porter... Forget that. Bamba, Porter, Trae Young are off the board, right?
1, Ayton goes to the Suns.
Okay.
2, Doncic goes to the goes to the Grizzlies. 3, we'll just put Bagley to the Mavs.
Okay.
4, Hawks go Porter.
Okay.
5, Magic go Trae Young.
Okay.
6, Bulls go Bamba.
Okay, if that's what I'm dealing with right now, my thought process for the Kings then becomes: do I take Mikal Bridges? Or do I go with a Wendell Carter? I would lean towards Mikal Bridges.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Because Wendell Carter, to me, fits more of that, not just... Like, Mo Bamba fits just a 5. Wendell Carter could be more of that 4. I've got enough 4s on this team that's so backloaded with, like, Scale, Rudolph, Harry Giles, to where I'm going to go with
Zach
a 3.
Randolph isn't...
Then Scale and Giles, still.
Okay.
But the 3 is a little bit weaker. I'll go with Mikal, who can contribute more.
But we just talked about Buddy Hield. We just talked about Bogdan and now you're going to draft another guy, and Justin Jackson, who they just drafted last year. That's another 3.
Yeah.
I mean, they have...
Is Justin Jackson going to pan out, though,
He started 41 games for them. I mean... This team doesn't have a lot of talent.
Exactly, and I think that Mikal could be one of the corner pieces.
So are you going with Dave's thing where you slide Bogdanovich to the 2 and then you put in Bridges at the 3?
Yeah.
Dave, are you in the same camp, or would you go Wendell Carter?
I would likely stay away from the center. I like Charlie Stein. Like, I know a lot of people, it's mixed on the Kings stuff that I've seen, whether they think they should re-sign him or not. I think a lot will depend on the price point. But I still think he's a quality 5. I think he's athletic enough to run the floor. I think he's young enough to fit the timeline. I don't see any reason to move away from him. purely just to go take a swing at somebody else. So, no, I would go with the 3.
And according to Hoops Hype, we got Cauley Stein 2018-2019 is going to be the final year, and then they have a qualifying offer in 2019-2020. So we'll see what the idea there is with Willie Cauley Stein. Again, he's a really athletic player, but with Wendell Carter, he brings more to that team. I mean, Willie Cauley Stein, I haven't seen much outside of another version of a kind of a DeAndre Jordan, where he's going to be a rim runner. He's going to be a guy who's going to protect the rim, and he's going to be running on pick and rolls and attacking the basket. Wendell Carter Jr. brings passing ability, brings more more evolved game offensively, and I think he still brings defense there. I think he probably brings more traditional defense than being a traditional rim protector that you have at that 5. Mm-hmm. And also, we're depending on Harry Giles, who again I know took the year off and is very promising so far, but we don't even seen him in a game yet, so that doesn't mean he's going to really turn around. Hopes. And Scale, I think Scale might be more of a bench player from what we've seen. And if the talk is, even from some Kings writers, is that Harry Giles, who again hasn't played a game, could even kick Scale out of his starting position.
Oh yeah, I'm already got that as a lock. Sorry.
So that's the thing is that I think Wendell Carter might be more of a need, because he's going to make your team more diverse. Where if you look at a guy like Mikal Bridges, I already feel like Bogdanovich already plays that position pretty well, and already kind of fits that role of 3-and-D pretty well. So I don't think you need to really address the 3-and-D spot, because you already have that in a Bogdanovich, and you just drafted a guy who you believed coming out of college in Justin Jackson
shot 30% from 3
to be a 3-and-D player. He's young. He's a rookie. It doesn't mean you can't get better from shooting threes.
He's 23.
At 30. That's true. He also struggled. It took him 4 years to learn how to shoot a 3 in college too.
And he forgot already. You're not selling Justin Jackson.
They also didn't have a true point. Like De'Aaron Fox, again, at his peak, was only averaging 4 assists per game.
You know what this brings up?
There wasn't a ton of ball movement on that Kings team.
Dave I wasn't going to say it,
what's
but
up?
Dave just made me think of, I was looking at the comment we got from Riley on our Baker Mayfield segment, and he goes,
what does that have to do with the Kings?
No. Just think about it right now. From what Dave just said with Justin Jackson, it's like every time Dave beats Ricky or Sean in a debate, take a shot. Alcohol poisoning.
Wait, what's it?
He said every time Dave beats one of us in a debate, take a shot.
Riley,
alcohol
I love
poisoning.
you. You're my boy.
I disagree on that one, but all right.
You're my boy.
I think I've beaten Dave plenty, and especially on the on the live stream that we did. But again, let's go back to the Kings, because I feel like we're shafting them here, kind of like when they picked Georgios Papagiannis back.
Bogdan is a ball he's a secondary ball handler. I think that's what you love to see out of him, because he can split that load with De'Aaron Fox. You're talking about not having a true point the entire year because they're splitting the starting point guard role. I understand that, but now with De'Aaron being your true 1, Bogdan being the 2, I know you hate me for it, but Buddy Hield coming off the bench can take advantage of other teams' second units. His defensive woes are hidden better against second units, so he can be that the match off the bench pretty much, get the team's offense, make sure there's no dip in that. That's why I keep looking. I'm like, don't. Go ahead.
I'm not saying that Buddy Hield won't be a starter. Or will be a starter. I'm sorry. I'm not saying he will be a starter. Because, again, for the most part, Justin Jackson was beating him out for a starting spot. I mean, I think Bogdanovich started the most games besides De'Aaron Fox. So they played the 1 and the 2, and then Justin Jackson played 41
Justin
games.
Justin got a good body, but the problem is,
forward.
like I said, the shot just did not fall for him. He ended the year pretty poorly. He had mixed results. I'll just mixed results.
Okay, let's answer this question. Do they have a star on this team right now?
Right now, potentially De'Aaron.
Harry Giles.
Star.
Are you confident in that?
If they get him the right pieces, and I think Mikal could be a nice 3-and-D next to him.
Dave, do they have a star? Do you agree with what Ricky said, and that if they put the right pieces around De'Aaron Fox, he will be a star?
I want to say yes, but he's not.
Why is that?
He's not a star. His shot from the outside is going to take time. I don't know unless if he can build it up to where he's a comfortable shooter. If he gets that 3-point shot to like 36%, I'm just a smidge above league average. Just a smidge above league average. Yes, he could be a star, but right now, from what I see, he's an awesome defensive point guard who is quick as lightning, can drive to the hole, but at the same time, he's not a star. No.
Well, and maybe a little bit different players, because one's a little bit bigger and De'Aaron Fox, but I mean, what you're pretty much describing is Rondo without the passing abilities.
I was leaning more towards John Wallish, but sure. The speed is there.
Okay.
The ability to go elevate near the rim.
But is he going to put up like 24 a game and also like 10 assists a game?
That's the problem. So passing-wise, I think he can. The problem with passing was you got to have people who put the ball in the bucket, and he didn't have consistent roster up there.
Or put the bucket in the basket.
Put the bucket in the basket, as I always say.
Put the bucket in the basket.
So I think that's one of the things that contributes to it. You know, we joked about the Trae Young, the missing assists for his team's awful shooting percentages. I think De'Aaron Fox, not to that extreme, but I think that he'll be a 6 assist kind of guy. Comfortably 6+ assists. I just don't see him being a guy who's going to be a 20+ a night scorer for your teams.
So he's like he kind of a little bit worse John Wall.
A little bit worse John Wall,
but better defensively.
Yes.
Okay.
But without the cojones to nail down threes
I
yet.
still go back to Rajon Rondo, just worse passing. Like,
dude, I don't know if you were there for like prime Rondo, but like that place holds a dear place in my heart, and like he was a freaking monster.
Are you taking prime Rondo as a number one on your team? Are you taking prime Rondo or are you taking John Wall?
I mean, John Wall's one less than prime Rondo. I'm just saying. No, I'm just fucking with you, man. John Wall's a better player. But Prime Rondo could do
number one on
everything.
the team.
Oh man, it's tough.
Just say John Wall because it's John Wall.
It's not because it depends on who's on your team. Even if Rondo's your one, you could have a good supporting cast. John Wall is showing right now with another All-Star next to him and one of the most efficient 3-and-D wing players, and Otto Porter, that he can't win. So what does that tell you?
He also only has 3 other players on the team. Anyways, what I'm trying to nail down, and this is the whole
so
argument
an All-Star and one of the most advanced stat-friendly players in the league, and you can't win a playoff series. And how many years have you been doing this? That's all I'm saying. John Wall is a fantastic scoreboard player. I think amazing statistically. But at the same time, I don't know if he's a guy who's going to turn the corner and be a superstar and be able to win shit on his own because he has yet to prove that.
They're rolling out a Morris brother and they're rolling out Marcin Gortat to help him as well. There's no depth on the team. But what I want to say, though, is what I was trying to get at with the De'Aaron Fox and do they have a star on the question there is if they don't have an option to take Michael Porter Jr. there, and they're trying to address that 3 position. And we just talked in the Cavs spot, if you're trying to get a star at that 3, and we talked about Mikal Bridges being a 2, why wouldn't Kevin Knox be available, or why wouldn't Kevin Knox be a thought process here? So if
I would take, because we talked about, I would take Mikal over Kevin.
But we talked about that top end. And if we're looking for a star, if you don't think 100% that De'Aaron Fox is going to be a star, that he needs pieces around him,
I want to play.
Kevin Knox could be an interesting piece because he also fits the timeline because it's not like the Kings are going to be winning in 3 or 4 years. I see Mikal Bridges as adding to a team, adding to a 1 and 2 already.
Answer me this, and this is for both of you. We're going to play our favorite game here on Most Valuable Podcast, Blind Resumes.
I can't see them. So.
You can't see them, but I just came up with it now. I'm sorry.
Right, paint a good picture.
But here's what I want you. Here's player 1. So points per game. And you guys can write this down.
Are these college?
Yes, college stats.
Okay.
Both of them are freshmen only, so one and done players.
Okay.
16.7 points per game, 1.5 steals per game, 4.5 assists a game, 4 rebounds per game. This player shot 47 from the field, 52 from 2, 24 from 3.
Do they play the same position?
Yes.
Okay.
The second person is 19.2 points per game, 0.8 steals per game, 3.6 assists, 3.8 rebounds, shot a field goal percentage of 44.7, a 2 of 49.5, and a 3 of 33.6. Who would you take? Player 1, player 2.
They played the full season.
They played the full season. Player 1 played 36. Player 2 played 33.
Okay,
same position, same height, nearly same weight.
What's the height?
6'3".
So they play the same position?
Yes.
So
and they're
in this draft class.
One is in this draft class, one is not.
So one's De'Aaron Fox from last year, and one is Colin Sexton.
Exactly. But who's who?
Sniff that one out.
Who had the higher points per game? Whoever the
Colin
second player
was
the second player was Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
The second one was Colin Sexton.
Okay, what's the point here?
My point was, which one would you take?
We watched too much.
Player A, player B.
De'Aaron Fox. I have De'Aaron Fox on my team. I'm not going to draft another point guard.
I'm saying like the point I'm trying to make is like
I don't know the point.
No. When Dave
Colin
said
Sexton carrying the Alabama team versus De'Aaron Fox.
When Dave said he's not a star, do you think Colin Sexton is going to be a star? Because if you think Colin Sexton's going to be a star, then De'Aaron Fox could be a star. That's my point. The only thing that's truly different is the 3-point percentages, where Colin Sexton does shoot a lot better from 3.
I disagree, though, because they're different players. I mean, De'Aaron Fox was taken because of his speed, speed, and also his defensive abilities.
Lockdown defense.
And what he did against Lonzo Ball, piecing him up. And also,
eating that ass.
De'Aaron Fox had Jesus Christ.
His words, not mine.
What is with you and asses this week?
First the onside kick. Fox said it.
I know, but first the onside kick, now here.
De'Aaron Fox also had a much better team around him. So those stats are going to be completely different. You cannot just say, oh, this guy had this and this and this. It's completely different players.
I'm just trying, the stats in college, very similar. I know each situation is different, but that's what popped it into my head when Dave said, oh, De'Aaron Fox is not going to be a star.
Who took the last shot for Kentucky to win that game against UCLA? I think it was UCLA. Last year.
Wasn't De'Aaron Fox?
No, it was not. It was Malik Monk.
Okay.
Malik Monk hit those big shots.
The moistest of men.
He was the go-to guy. He was the go-to scorer. Colin Sexton was the go-to scorer in Alabama. He was the go-to scorer number 1.
Who else did Alabama have this
Exactly.
year?
That's the point.
And Colin Sexton proved that he can be a go-to scorer. And Colin Sexton also proved that he can be a go-to facilitator. I love De'Aaron Fox. I think he's a great player. But my question is he going to be a star? I don't know if that's true.
Is yes, he could be. He will be.
And I don't know.
Not a superstar, not like a top 10 player, but a star.
Not a,
okay. Yeah. I think Kevin Knox has more of that ability. So that's why I would say at that 7 spot, Kevin Knox is also on that board. And over Miles Bridges. I would say if we're looking at filling in that 3 spot for the Kings, it's going to be, and I think probably the 3 prospects, again, if Michael Porter Jr. and Mo Bamba are off the board, the 3 prospects in this order, in my mind, for the Sacramento Kings, Kevin Knox, Wendell Carter Jr., Mikal Bridges.
Wow.
To fit the Sacramento
Carter
Kings.
over Mikal?
Whoa.
To fit the Sacramento Kings. Now, because I think you need a star, and you're getting that potential there. Again, this is just for the Sacramento Kings. And this is not because of a billboard. A big board.
Yeah, billboard.
This is not because of and the camera shut off, so sorry about that. But this is a good conversation, I think. Again, this goes back to the position and the potential and the need. And I think that getting more star potential is going to help your team because this team is still very young. Scale hasn't proven anything. Harry Giles hasn't played a game. De'Aaron Fox just had his first year. Buddy Hield just had his first full year. And also, Justin Jackson Bogdan just had their full first year. You're going to still have time for Kevin Knox to develop. That's why I would go with him.
Let me ask you this then. You say, oh, well, De'Aaron Fox is, let's say, not going to be the guy because he, let's say what you did, never took the shot in college.
No, I'm saying he could be.
But let me just go through this thought process. Could Buddy Hield? Buddy Hield was that guy in college when he was coming out.
Completely different player. Again.
But is he going to be the guy for the Kings?
No, he's going to be on the bench.
That is going to take that shot.
The reason they're taking a 3 is because Buddy Hield's not a starter.
Yeah, but Buddy Hield's going to play the 2.
Okay.
He ain't going to play the 3. He's going to play the 2.
Okay, then and we just said that the better 2 on the team is Bogdanovich.
Yeah.
So that's the
question. If you roll with Bogdan at the 3, then you could roll with Buddy as a starter, but it depends on what they want to do. Like, for a reason, because Justin Jackson's bigger, they rolled him out there as a starter for the 3. That's his starts.
And Buddy provides scoring off the bench.
Exactly.
Which they didn't have.
I think fit-wise, it works out for them well. I would flip your order, though. I still think that I would take Knox over Wendell. I would still say Mikal, Knox, then
Miles.
Wendell.
Okay.
Miles is I'm having a hard time finding a good role for him on this team. I think he becomes I think for the Kings he's a tiny bit redundant and you don't need him. Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't be a bad pick, but it's just I'm finding a hard time trying to find a spot to land him.
Let's bring this off. The camera's off. Let's just go real quick. No matter, let's kind of take Michael Porter Jr. back in here, Mo Bamba back in here. Let's say it's 7. Michael Porter Jr., Mo Bamba, Kevin Knox, Mikal Bridges are somehow all available. Let's just throw it on the floor. Which need are you addressing more? Michael Porter Jr. at the 3 or the 4 possibly, Mo Bamba at the 5, or are you going to go with Kevin Knox or Mikal Bridges? Let's say those 4 players are on the board.
It's a choice between, like, the 3 we just talked about don't matter. It's between Mo and Michael, and I'd probably go Michael Porter just because of the potential reason, but it would be hard to pass on Mo Bamba because of the questions with Cauley Stein.
70-30 potential versus what you proved. 70% of potential for Michael Porter is still an insane amount to take him, even if he doesn't look, silky smooth. I'm in.
I meant to give me a 1, 2, 3. So Porter's my 1, 2. So Porter's my 1.
Porter,
Bamba,
Mikal.
So
you're going
Bamba,
Bamba at your
Mikal.
2,
Yeah,
and then
and then
Mikal at the
Mikal,
3.
yeah.
I would go Mikal at the 2, Knox at the 3.
And so you're not going Mo Bamba. You're not trusting that 5.
I would not touch the 5 yet.
Okay, I'm going MPJ. I'm going Kevin Knox. I'm going Bamba.
Okay.
For this Kings team, just fit-wise. And I think also you're taking in potential. Kevin Knox still has potential. He's just going to take a while, and I think he fits this timeline.
I don't know if he's going to take I don't know. I don't know.
Kevin
I think
Knox
he's going to take. I think he's going to take.
He's got a better body. He's got good wingspan. He's got the ability to be a scorer on a team, like a primary scorer for stretches. So
we talked about this before.
But there's
Kevin
a reason
Knox
he's going.
keeps
There's a reason he's going outside the top 10.
He fell off after, he was clearly taken off of the number 1 from his team after partway through the year. So
I think he's also limited right now in the game that he has. So I think he has to develop more moves. I think he has to kind of like what Miles Bridges needed to do. A little bit better of an athlete for sure. But Miles Bridges consistently was going to the same moves over and over again. Kevin Knox is doing the same thing.
You could almost predict Miles. Yeah,
so that's the thing is Kevin Knox needs to become more of an offensive scorer. He has the abilities to be a great scorer, but he needs to develop those abilities. Ricky, do you want to say anything final?
The only thing I was going to say is I see Kevin Knox as a better fit for the Knicks.
Yeah.
And I know we already talked about the Knicks.
But if he fits the Kings, then
I think he fits the Knicks better a little bit with that potential.
No, but the Kings are in front of him. So
no, I know, but I think the Kings. The Kings. It's between for me Porter and Bamba. So they're not even thinking.
Yeah, and he's got Knox at 5 or something.
Yeah, again, I'm just saying Again, if the Kings, if we're going back to the original thing where Bridges on the Mikal's on the board, Wendell Carter's on the board, Knox is on the board again. But I'm just saying, if the Kings feel like Kevin Knox is still a good fit for them.
But you're asking me who I feel like would be Mikal.
Dave, any final thoughts?
No, this was a great conversation, boys.
All right, again,
I'm a man. I'm 28.
What?
I'm quoting Mike Gundy.
He's 40.
But I'm not 40. I'm 28 though. I'm not 40.
If you for some reason want to like this podcast, give us a like down below.
After all of that, if you're still listening,
rate us 5 stars on iTunes. This was an interesting fast break podcast. This probably is why we were here from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Last night, and then running it back at 7 p.m. Anyways, if you have any thoughts, down in the comments below, let us know about the Kings, the Cavs, the Pelicans versus the Warriors, and also our Wet Boys. Again, don't forget to rate us 5 stars on iTunes, the Onside Kick, the Primetime Podcast, the Fast Break Podcast, the Outcast. They're not on iTunes yet, but check them out on YouTube. And then also check out Rick and Johnny on iTunes and rate them 5 stars. Also, check out mostvaluablepodcast.com if you want to check out the store. And check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast if you want to be on a podcast or if you want to get a monthly Patreon podcast or ask us questions at that $5 tier. But for Dave Oster, Ricky Widmer, I'm Sean Anderson. We'll see you next time.